What's up, everybody? I'm Crystal with Picola Podcasters. We got Nick over there, man in the controls. You can't see him right now, but he's back there, I swear.
Hi, everybody.
All right, we're here today with a local author, Jason Todd.
How's it going, everyone?
He's going to talk to us about Notorious Seas, which is a universe, from what I understand. So tell us about how you got started with that and what it's about.
Okay. So it was about X amount of years ago when I was still in the Army. I was just killing some time, thinking of just little stories. And then it came to me, not a lot of people do pirate stuff, fantasies. I mean, you have like Pirates of the Caribbean, but with a little bit more realism to it, like a Game of Thrones stuff. I think. So I started throwing some ideas around, and then I slowly started getting like, all right, I'll make a very brutal, large, epic pirate fantasy book.
Okay.
For what it's about, well, it tells a lot of different stories in it, but the beginning one, as far as the story that's out right now, is covers the character James Weston, who is trying to find all these artifacts to basically make a deal to not go to hell, or I should say purgatory, when he dies. And through that, he has to go through an incredible series of events to be able to complete the task.
Okay.
And that's basically it in a nutshell. There are other characters with their own character arcs, but I don't want to spoil them. I want you guys to buy the book and have fun with yourselves.
There you go. So you're currently working on the second
Yes.
novel coming out for it?
Yes, and that one is Notorious Seas, The Winds of Freedom, which will be coming out this year. And it will be followed by a couple more expansion packs. This is as far as that one. I decided to actually show Weston's origin story in that one. I don't want to say like a reboot of the series or anything. It's just felt like I just want to show people more in depth of what he was instead of doing his beginning of his story in the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you read the first one, you see where all the events that he's at right now in his life. The first one, or in Winds of Freedom, you'll see how he began that route.
Okay. So it kind of goes back. So it's like it jumps back to what happened before. Is it moving forward from that point, from what you wrote? It just has flashbacks? Is that like
no, not flashbacks in that one. Yeah.
Literally a prequel, kind of?
Yeah. You can think like that. Basically 15 years in the past when he started his route.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So you actually said that you have lots of these books lined up.
Yes.
So it's gonna be huge. So tell me about your publishing company.
Publishing company. So right now I'm using my first book was self-published, but now I started working with Fulton Books Publishing Company out of Pennsylvania, and they've been a pretty good help right now.
Okay.
But I gotta admit, sometimes it's a little weird because I'm so used to doing for years. I've been doing all the work. I've been doing like the drawing. I'm not good at that part. The writing, the beta reading it, mapping it out, everything, and now they're doing so much of the work helping me out. It feels weird.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to take your art and let somebody play with it too, if you think about it. Because you were telling me that they want to do the art and they want to help with that, and that's the art that you had planned for that. You were saying that you were wanting to still use it.
Yes.
Like even if you're not using it for this one, you want to use it for other novels or other comic book, other scenes, right? So the artwork that you currently have, you said you're not a good artist, but I know you showed me some of that work, and I was impressed by it. So who do you use for?
So I go on Fiverr, and from there I've met a handful of freelancers who draw the character concepts, and a lot of times they're pretty good.
I was impressed with that one that looked like the comic book.
Oh yes, yeah, the one from another book on a side book called Rogue Agents. He's pretty good. I actually just hired him for another job to complete more pages for me.
Okay, that's awesome. So tell me about, well, whenever you started writing, what Notorious Seas was that? Obviously, probably was not your first.
No, that was first.
Was that your first writing project? Period. Like, did you ever?
Not very first writing project. So I think very first writing project, I tried to do something like with vampires or whatnot.
Right.
I don't remember why. Just it's like whatever. I'm gonna write about vampires and a son and his dad going on a mission to kill them or whatnot. And I just kind of drifted away from it. I guess I'm not that experienced with the lore of vampire stuff, but the pirates that's different.
You're like, I'm publishing this one. I got this one on lock for sure. So Nick, you want to show them some of the art that he's got us?
I sure am.
All right, we'll let that switch over there.
All right, I'm excited to show everyone.
If you could tell us what you're showing, so we know what's up.
All right.
We don't see it.
First, I'm showing the cover of Notorious Seas. And give me one moment. Y'all can keep on talking.
Okay,
I'm gonna display these as we're going.
Okay, awesome. So, tell me a little bit about. So you did the vampire stuff first, and then was your next project pirates? Are you focused on fantasy mostly for all of your projects? Do you have any ideas for maybe stepping outside of that genre? Or
so I've tried. So I love fantasy, purely for the fact that I can be as creative as I want. And I'll tell you a good example when I did try to step out. So I love Vikings, right? I mean, who doesn't, right? And I tried writing a Viking story. I mean, their story was still fictional, but it was set in the real world where other real life events were happening. But as I was starting to write it, I always have a bunch of beta readers reading my work, making sure everything's good. There's no plot holes or things that are just inaccurate. And they kept finding little things like Vikings weren't here in this part of the world at that time. And just over the course of a lot of that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it completely fantasy. That way nobody can say something like that.
Right, you know? Right. So it's automatically fiction.
Yeah, completely. So for the pirate fantasy, it's a completely different world set in the 1600s, but with the fantasy twist. Made up countries, real names, people, the cultures pretty much similar to what they're like. And then even with the Rogue Ages one superhero stuff, that's just basically humans, somewhat superheroes on another planet, somewhere else in space.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. So the map, let's talk about the map. You literally have mapped out this world.
Yes, a lot of it.
Okay. So do we have that on there as well? Okay, making sure. And
that's just one portion of it, by the way.
Yeah, that's one portion of the map. So you've got room to play with this series.
Lots of room.
Lots of room to play. Can you tell us anything about the personalities of your characters in your book?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Let's see. Let's talk about Dalton Mercer. This is one of my favorite guys, and he gets a lot of mixed reviews from fans who read him. Some people think he's a coward. Some people think he's comical, which they're both true.
Right.
He keeps ending up in one bad situation after another, and it's like, how's that old expression? Out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yes.
Yeah. He grew up in an orphanage, and he's been bouncing around the countries, just trying to do the next thing. Usually bouncing around between taverns, brothels, and just seems to get in a fight with almost everybody he meets.
Right.
I don't know if it's because they're drunken or maybe just they just don't like his face, so they hit him a lot. And he usually he gets them back, but it's through a clever method.
Right.
He can't fight.
So he's tactful. Or no, just clever maybe.
Yeah, maybe just clever. Tactful might be a little too good of a compliment for him. And he's always stirring up trouble.
Okay.
Always swapping sides. It's about him. However way I got to survive, I'm going to play for that team. If that team's about to lose, I'm going to switch teams. But he never really had loyalty to them in the first place. So people get mad at him for that. It's like, what do you expect, man? The dude he was with is about to kill him. Why would he stay on that team?
Right, right. So have you found yourself, whenever you write, kind of relating to these characters?
Some of them, yes. And sometimes more than what I realized until someone pointed something out. Like, for example, James Weston. I don't like to play favorites, but if I had to pick a favorite, he would be my favorite. Him and me have a lot in common. For example, we don't drink for X amount of reasons. We both served in the military. Although he was training to be an officer, then turned into an enlisted. I didn't have that route. I just went straight enlisted. It's a lot more fun that way. In case you're thinking about joining the Army.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. We have some similar body features, but that was just by coincidence.
Right.
A lot of people, if you see the book cover, people will look at it and say, it looks like you just drew yourself and put it on there. And it's like, no, it's not that. I don't have that big of a forehead or that shape of a nose, and my eye colors are completely different. But
yeah, they were reaching on that one then, huh?
I feel so.
We're gonna do a side by side. That's what we need to do.
That's what I had to do sometimes. I had to bring my book up. Like,
wait a minute, yeah.
They might have a few things here.
Okay. So, whenever you were in school, did y'all like in English class and stuff like that? Did you do well in English class,
Nope.
or you didn't?
Nope, absolutely not.
Really, that's actually a really interesting thing because a lot of times I hear, oh yeah, and I wrote these things and
So I'm about to tell you a long funny story that's going to come into the book writing game.
Okay.
So in school, I think like a lot of teenagers in high school, I was just unmotivated to really do anything until one day I was watching The Ultimate Fighter season 7 with some family members, and I did wrestling in school, and one of the guys I was rooting for did wrestling. He was beating everybody up. And I thought, oh, I could probably do that. And I got peer pressured into doing it. Did it. Absolutely loved it. Tried to make a career out of that at the time. So forget school. I graduated. That doesn't mean I dropped out. But,
yeah.
And after a couple of years of doing MMA, I tried joining the Army. Or I did join the Army. And to help that career. That part didn't work out. But while I was in the Army and I had more time, I was sitting in my room at my duty station in Germany. And I started playing around with the ideas of writing. And I get this, I had a guy walk by. Don't even remember his name. But I gave him so much credit for the inspiration he gave me. I said out loud, like, oh, I think I can start writing this. I think this is going to be good. Came by, he looked at it and said, no, you can't. And it was like one of those moments where you're like, oh, hold my beer.
Yeah, like, let me prove this.
Yeah, now I'm going to prove it. And now it's been, let's say, 4 or 5 years later, and just repetition after repetition. And it's now here.
It's practicing, man. It really is.
It really is. At the beginning, there was a lot of mistakes. Don't get me wrong.
Well, but, naturally.
Yeah, naturally. I can't tell you how many times I bothered my friends to read my material. Especially my friends, the Boykins. Oh my God, I must have felt they might have gotten a restraining order on me if I kept putting too many. Just kept emailing them over and over again.
That's awesome.
But I'll spare. They were good. They were very helpful. Actually, a lot of my friends and people I grew up with, they inspire characters to be made off.
Okay, so what characters
are inspired off who?
Mm-hmm. That way, if they're watching for you or anything,
okay.
Get the shout outs.
Okay, we'll go with my buddy Anthony Boyd. Okay, so he was an armor in our duty station, and he just had some great one-liners. And I made a character in the book, and he's in the first one, called Anthony O'Malley. He's this Irish pirate. Has these crazy drunken lines, and it's crazy how much I look at him now in the book, and it's like, holy shit, this really came out to be him. And I don't want to give away some of the lines because for starters, Notorious Seas is more of an adult's book. Don't get your kids this book.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to spoil anything.
Right.
But he is a character to keep. If you want to keep laughing at drunken shenanigans, Anthony O'Malley, the character, is a great character to follow.
So Anthony O'Malley sounds like somebody, a character that I would want to read about and is going to cause me to read the book because I want to hear about these one-liners now.
Oh yeah.
Those are fun. So you have you said the Boykins. So like the whole family.
Oh, just a husband and wife.
Oh, husband and wife. Okay,
both very good people.
So how does the wife feel about it?
Well, I'm not married.
How does his wife feel?
No, she's a big fan of too. She actually has a character based off her too. But their characters in the books are not married.
Okay.
Anything, they're actually kind of like on the opposite professions.
Okay.
But they create funny stuff.
I saw the face. You said opposite professions, so now I got to read the book for sure.
His wife's character is a pirate hunter.
Oh.
So it's like, husband's a pirate, wife's a pirate hunter. Create some funny dynamics. Those characters haven't met yet, but it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. All right. Well, we didn't mean to spoil anything, but shh, don't tell nobody. All right. Well, I'm excited to hear about it. Do we have any more photos to show?
There's the other one that you sent me. I don't know if it's for another
girl. Is it the one with the girl with black hair?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that one. That's actually one of the expansion books.
Okay.
So let's see. The purple, right?
Yep.
Purple. All right. So that one. So as I went back to do the kind of like reboot prequel phase, right? So I plan on releasing one book, Notorious Seas, One's Freedom, and then have 2 short stories that are happening in that same universe at the same time, but just in 2 different areas to help expand people's knowledge of the world. And one of them is a new character, is Sabrina Romero, and she's probably one of my favorites too, just off her short story. The book cover is beautiful. I was really hoping that was going to be able to release this year, but that's probably looking like next year. But basically, so there are witches in the story as well, and she is a girl who grew up in a country. It's kind of like Spain, this culture, and they don't like witches. And she gets and she's the daughter of a bishop, and she finds out that she is one. So she's got this awesome thing, something that she's actually wanted as a kid, but now she's stuck in a community that absolutely hates that. So she has to overcome all those challenges.
The adversity, yeah. See, that's cool though. Whenever you can come up with all these different scenarios, and it relates to people that are reading, whether it's a fictitious work or not. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, this sounds like a situation I had to do. It might not be the same, but overcoming adversity in those ways, that's awesome. So where can we check out your material?
So right now, Notorious Seas, the first one that came out, is on Amazon. But when The Winds of Freedom is finally published, that'll be on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, iTunes, and Google Play.
Okay, so it's going to be widely available.
Yes.
Okay. That's exciting.
I know, right?
Yeah, be able to tell anybody all of these ways that you can check it out.
Sometimes it makes me wonder though, like how many people buy books through like certain ways. Like I've never bought a book from Google Play. So usually it's been either Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, sometimes a Books A Million. But,
right.
Whatever way people can get them. It's also available on Kindle, and for a much cheaper price.
Okay.
But yeah.
A little less inexpensive on the Kindle. That's interesting.
Thank you.
That's really cool. I'm really excited to check it out. So I'm gonna have to go on Amazon. And how do we find it? We just literally type Notorious Seas.
So I would type in Notorious Seas and then probably put my first name, Jason. That might help. I know right now I have a lot of people who buy the book. They always say it only shows up as Kindle at first. I don't know why it does that, but all you have to do is hit filter, book section, and then boom, you'll have it. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I'll put the link to it in the chat too.
All right, yes. Sweet.
That'd be great.
That now.
So next time, or whenever you publish, or you're about to publish and it's about to release, we want you to come back on so we can let people know about it again, and maybe we can clip something from this interview to get some insight into the characters or something.
Yeah, I'd love that.
And we can share after this interview. I want to sit down and find the link to that Amazon. Did you already find the link on the Amazon?
Oh yeah, it's already posted.
It's already posted. You're so good. This is why. Like,
He's
I'd still be typing it, man. I'd still be typing it, trying to find it. Like, why won't my phone unlock?
I'm kind of good like that.
Oh yeah. Well, CremRo's about to be here in a few, so we will probably transition in just a moment. We might hop offline and then come back to y'all. So just bear with us.
Chris Owens, I want to say he did come into the chat and he said, "Whoop whoop, go Jason."
Thank you, Chris. Actually, I'd like to take a quick moment.
No, please.
Chris Owens, a great friend of mine back, does photography in Illinois if you ever need help, specifically around Aurora and Chicago areas. Great photography. He actually did. You see the photos, the author photos on my books? He actually took those.
Really?
Yeah, that's him. He did a pretty great job. I wish I came to him when I got the very first book published. I don't think I did an author photo. That one, yeah, you on that. But all the other ones, that's where great job, great price. He's the man.
Okay.
But so glad that you messaged. I want to thank everyone, family, friends, everybody that has helped me actually get to this stage. It means so much, especially you guys bringing me on. So honored. Just thank you all. Just know that I deeply appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you, and I'm so excited to read this book now because now I got a little bit of insight on the characters.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll pull someone in who was made one of the characters inspired off of them. You can talk to them.
There you go. That'd be real cool.
Well, I got a question for you.
What's up?
So, how often, or do you still do it? Do you still superhero from time to time with your name, or do you go by Robin now, or not Red Hood?
Yeah, I get the Red Hood thing a lot. God, if I had $1, just for so I did 6 years in the Army. If I had $1 for every time someone brought that up and they're alone, I could probably buy a boat right now.
Really?
Yeah, which would be pretty cool now that I'm living in Florida.
Yeah, or now that you've got a pirate book.
Yeah. I'm just waiting to like make any vigilante characters, and someone will always make a Red Hood joke, or with the Rogue Agents one. So like someone's gonna make it.
Yep. When did you realize your name was?
I think maybe when I was 20, 21. Like I liked comic books. Don't get me wrong. I liked the video games. And I was a fan of Batman. But it wasn't until I think it was. Yeah, when I was competing in MMA, and there was this one martial artist, Brandon Gratch. He messaged me, and we had a friendly fight. He was actually my very first fight I did in MMA. Really cool guy. And he messaged me out of nowhere. It's like, hey, like, you realize who you are? I'm like, what do you mean who I am? And then he started showing me like how I'm the Red Hood and whatnot. I'm like, oh, okay. And then it just felt like a dam breaking. It's like every few days or weeks, someone else would bring it up. It's like everyone was realizing it.
Oh, that's wild. CremRo's here? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, CremRo's actually here, so we're going to pull him in just a moment.
All right.
But yeah. Tell me a little bit about your like schooling. You said that you were lackadaisical with
that's a nice word. Yeah.
Lackadaisical with the classes. But was there anything in school like that your classes did help you with, you think?
I mean, not really anything special, I would say.
Yeah, just the fundamentals.
Yeah, just the fundamentals. Honestly, I think the biggest helper was just real life experience. You know, it's like when you're a teenager, or even if you just graduated high school, we have this bad habit. I was very guilty of it. Of just thinking you know everything, you have all the answers to the world problems, and you don't.
That's true. Nobody does.
And I joined the military, and I went around the world for 6 years, and I really learned what life was like, and I gained so much knowledge from those experiences, and it actually helped with my writing.
Right.
Writing stuff that's realistic, like not too fantasy to where it's like that would never happen, to where like no, I can pour the actual emotions for people under the
it makes it relatable.
Yeah, makes it relatable. Sure. Although some characters are more difficult to write in that way, just because there's some things I cannot relate to just because of who I am. You know,
right.
Like I don't know what it's like to be an old lady in a nursing home, for example. I don't know what that's like.
Right.
So, but that's usually why I bother a lot of people with a bunch of questions.
Yeah, because then you might learn something. Well, the worst part about this is this. And you're like, okay, well, I can.
Yeah. Pretty much exactly that.
Highlight on that.
All the different types of people from different backgrounds, bombard them with questions, and you get so much. Actually, so the Sabrina Romero, the Revelations of Sabrina Romero in Notorious Seas, I was talking with a friend who inspired the character, and she had just told me a story about her life, and then I added a little fantasy to it, but it was such great inspiration for the story. So it's not just the character, but the story itself too. And sometimes that happens with people.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm not sure where they're at, but I think we're going to take a pause so I can check on that. If you give me just a minute, we're pausing. I'm going to screen it. I'm going to send it to a screen. Y'all check out that book, y'all.
Am I good to move now?
All right, guys, we're actually going to go try to get CremRo upstairs real quick, and we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Well, actually, you can go somewhere. Just click the link again. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you for having me on, Crystal and Nick.